He's Kevin Faulk, spent 13 years with the Patriots, three-time Super Bowl champion, a legend in the franchise.
Legend.
Kevin, thanks for taking the time and coming on Foxborough Rush.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Great to talk to someone that, you spent, with the time you were with the franchise, drafted in 1999, your final season in 2011. You saw it from Pete Carroll to Bill Belichick. You played with Mike Vrabel, but you've seen it go from building up to being the dynasties and the culture what it is to all the way seeing it through, especially those first 3 Super Bowl wins. What was your immediate reaction to seeing the news that Mike Vrabel was named the next head coach of the New England Patriots?
I wasn't surprised. Not at all. It would have been a surprise to me if he didn't take the job. I know how he feels about the organization. I know how he feels about the program. Crazy part is, playing with Mike Vrabel, you knew Mike Vrabel was going to be a coach somewhere, some point, and when he was done playing football, because he was such a smart football player on the football field.
I want to dive into that, because that was my next question to you is, when you played alongside of him, did you see coaching in his future? It sounds like you did. You said it was because he was so smart. I mean, was there more to it than that, Kevin? When you say he was smart, can you go into that deeper? Was it reading offenses? Was it telling guys where to line up? What specifically did you see in Mike Vrabel where you knew, okay, one day this guy, if he wants to, he can be one hell of a coach?
It's all of that. It's all that you just said. But something even more. And I think if you watch one of Julian's podcasts with Scott Pioli on it, and Pioli talking about Vrabel was the guy that could have taken to that point, but not overstep his boundaries as a player with Coach Belichick, but at the same time be right on point with Coach. And it was one of those things you notice as a player. As a player that's really into the game, you notice stuff like that.
Was it somewhat where, you hear about, I love the quote, it's from Josh McDaniels, because he spent time with Mike Vrabel. He was on the side as a defensive assistant when Vrabel first got to the team, right? And he was like, look, Mike's an a-hole, but he's an a-hole you want on your team. And I think that's one of the best compliments you could get, especially for a defensive guy, right? He's an agitator. He's an instigator. People may say he's abrasive, but I mean, that's strong self-belief in what he stands for, and that's what got him to this point. Did you see that as a player, and you think that's what makes him so successful as a head coach?
All of that. It takes all of those intangibles to make that good, that great head coach that you want to see and that you want to play for.
Kevin, look, I heard all the same stuff about Gerard Mayo, right? Leader of men, read defenses, make sure everyone's lined up. And then they hired him, gave him an opportunity. Not saying he did the best job in the world, but Lord knows they ran through that. Okay, this ain't going to work, and he's out of here. Is there a chance here that veteran players such as yourself, I don't think current players care much, but I think veteran guys who know the Patriot way, who have won on the highest levels. I mean, we had James White on here, and this came up, so that's why I'm asking you. Do you think veteran players could feel a type of way that, hey, Gerard Mayo had all these exact traits that Mike Vrabel didn't have the experience, I'll give you that, and you ran him up out of here after 1 year, and now you're hiring Mike Vrabel. Does it look like that's what they wanted to do, from the beginning? Do you think veteran players may not love this move with Vrabel, or do you think there's nothing there?
Well, first off, it's players have to understand it's a business move by the owners and what's happened. We all know that as veterans. At the same time, to bring up the topic, it's a bittersweet thing for me. Very happy when Gerard got the job, his opportunity. When he got fired, it was like, wow, okay. You didn't give him opportunity. It was crazy to me. But at the same time, you're happy for Vrabel in that stance. But as a current player, being a veteran, I would say just be a player. Let administration do what they do and take care of you on the football field.
Yeah. How can they do right by Gerard Mayo? Because I much like you, I was so excited when he got the job. First black head coach in franchise history. And then we see what happened a year later. But my thing is this, Kev. Robert Kraft talks about how much he loves this guy and about how tight they are. He didn't set him up for success. Okay, fine. You fire him after year one. Okay, fine. How do you do right by him now? I just don't understand. Like, where's he going to get experience from? Who's going to hire him after what we just saw after one season, right? On one hand. Right. And on the other hand, I'm just like, what are you going to do to make it right by him? You can't give him a front office job now, I guess. What do you think Robert Kraft and the Patriots can do to do right by Jerod Mayo now that it's all over?
Well, the crazy thing is, it don't matter what I think. It really doesn't. It's up to them to figure it out. Like I said, I always thought Jerod was a great guy. On the football field, off the football field, when he got the job, after he got the job, and he's going to be that same person until this day. But like we all know, and he got the short end of the stick. But we also know, and he know it, it's the business. It's the business aspect of it. And he got to move forward. And I know Jerod personally. He trusts in God and understand that God has a plan for him.
Yeah, you spent 8 seasons playing with Mike Vrabel. You spent 4 seasons with Jerod Mayo as a teammate as well. There was an overlap for you between both of these guys. When you look at the Patriots, though, I mean, you had such a long career with them. You're a legend of the franchise. Obviously, Robert Kraft is one of the more intimate owners in all of sports in a way of that he is there. He's in the locker room talking to the players. When he had to fire Jerod, you saw him own it and like wear it on his chest. He felt it that he did wrong by Jerod Mayo. What do you think this hiring of Mike Vrabel means to Robert Kraft at this point now? Because he knows he has to get it right and fully invest in his head coach now to get the Patriots back to just being respectful, Kevin, which we never thought we'd see, but that's how much of a mess it's been the last few years.
Well, the crazy thing for Mr. Kraft, I think it's about hiring somebody that you know, that kind of knows you, not in the business aspect, but going to get to know you in the business aspect. And it's a familiar face. And Vrabel is not a bad guy to say you want him as your head coach.
Sure. Take us inside the locker room, because now Mike Vrabel's got to come in here and reestablish a culture, Kevin. I think one of the biggest things Jerod made a mistake in, not that he wasn't trying, I'm sure he was trying, maybe it just didn't work, but I've never felt like this season this team had an identity, bro. Like, that's a problem. A head coach is supposed to give you an identity. He's supposed to build a culture, and I imagine that's what Vrabel's going to do day one. So from a player perspective, what does that look like? What do you anticipate Mike Vrabel coming in and doing to establish just a culture here, Kevin?
Well, first off, he got to gain the trust of those veteran players that we talked about earlier. Gain that trust individually, bring them in and talk to them before you even have a team meeting. And Vrabel knows. Vrabel's been around. He's done it. He's built a program with the Tennessee Titans as the head coach over there. So he has an understanding. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does it. It's just the making of how he does it.
You spent plenty of time going into coaching as well in your post-playing careers at the high school level in LA with your alma mater and LSU. I know you spent an internship mentorship with the Giants, New York Giants, for a month as well. What you picked up going from the player to being a coach, in your eyes, what makes a coach successful that was once a player?
The relationship with the player. The certain things that a coach that probably never played the position but has coached it for a very long time, that he can't give a player that has played that position.
Right.
It's just a feel thing. I can't explain it. It just happens.
I think it's an important thing to point out, because the success of this franchise, it relies on the head coach and, of course, on the franchise quarterback, what they're hoping and what everyone's hoping Drake May can be here in Boston. Yeah. How do you see Mike Vrabel succeeding in that? Where you said it, you never played the position, but you have to have that relationship to build the trust. Mike Vrabel, a linebacker, defensive-minded. Drake May, of course, a quarterback.
I've always felt the relationship you have with your quarterback is probably the most important relationship on your football team. He's had that. He's done that. He's built a relationship with his starting quarterback on his football team. So I think he's going to do the same thing. It's just how. Again, like I said, how he does it. How he gets him to buy in. How Drake May gets him to buy into him.
Well, look, Kevin Faulk is a one of one. So you're not going to find another Kevin Faulk. But I tell you one damn thing. It would help Drake May's development to have somebody like you, because Lord knows he didn't have anything outside of nothing to help him out this season. So I'll ask you this, put your GM hat on for a minute here. How would you build around this kid? Because I imagine you watching Patriots games this season, you had to like what you saw from Drake May at least. How would you go about building around him?
You got to protect him.
Yep.
You got to protect him. And I'm not saying going out and get first round offensive linemen because like I know, you can build the offensive line from third round on down.
Yeah.
It's just about finding that and coaching that talent, and you're developing that talent and understanding what's their strengths and what their weaknesses, and then you got to get some weapons for them on the outside to get them to go. You got two really good running backs right now. I love Ramondre Stevens and what he does. Yes, he does have a problem with holding on to the ball, but when he has the ball in his hand, he's a tremendous running back.
I like you point out Ramondre Stevenson and that. I mean, building a great team, it's front to back, inside out. Good offensive line, good run game, play action that does a lot for your quarterback, even as talented as Drake May. When you're looking at watching Ramondre Stevenson this season, he has fumbling issues, but the ball in his hands, you're right. Like, he makes guys miss in space. He makes tacklers miss. I think that's so important for any running back, any level. What about Ramondre Stevenson's game do you think he has to improve on the most to continue to be that guy for their run game and also someone to prove, to the public, hey, this is why the Patriots invested in me with this contract?
Well, I think the most improvement, and we all know it, is holding on to the ball.
Yeah.
He has all the tools and talents to be that guy. He's such a, how you say that, his balance and his quickness as being a bigger back is tremendous to me. And just the way he carries himself running the ball, it seems like he runs like he's lighter than what he is, but he's a heavy guy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I mean, you played 13 years in the league, Kevin. I mean, and by the time you were done, all the catches, all the carries, you were that dual threat back that was before his time. What was the key to for you, the longevity of your career to play that long in such a physical position?
Taking care of your body outside, playing on Sundays during the course of the week, massages, stretching, chiropractors, just making sure that your body is your temple. That's what's keeping you going. That's what's taking care of your family, your whole team.
Kev, if we talking running backs and the Patriots have this first round pick, there is no way I can get you on this camera and not ask you about that young man at Boise State, Ashton Genty. Kevin Faulk, tell me about this kid, because what I watch, I mean, he looks generational to me, bro. So talk to me about what you see in that young man. Specifically, why does he stand up straight, Kevin? Like, Kevin, he doesn't even get in the running back stance. Bro just stands straight up and gets a handoff and runs to pay dirt every time. Talk to me about that young man out in Boise State at running back. Do you like his game?
Oh, definitely. He has a lot to offer. Just like kind of like Ramondre, just not as big. But he's about 215, I think he is, if I'm not mistaken. If I remember listening to the commentators one day, but he has all those same traits: contact balance, catch the ball out of the backfield, make guys miss, explosiveness. You name it. The number one thing for guys coming out of college, like myself when I came out of college, which was a long time ago, learning the game. Learn the game of football. We think we know the game of football when we coming out of college, but we really don't. Learn the game of football, and you understand. And his game will be so much more better.
Kev, this is how I know you should be a coach. You nailed it. 5'9", 215. You were right on point with that. What's with this standing up straight thing? I don't understand. I've seen the running back stance my whole life. All of a sudden, this kid just stands up straight like he's Michael Myers, and he gets the carry and he does anything he wants. Is this a new young running back thing, or what is this? Is this a lack of coaching? I've never seen that in my life.
No, I've seen a couple of guys stand up straight. It's coaching. It's the way their coach wants them to stand up. Okay. You do whatever you do, so.
Hey, it's working. It's working, Kev.
How does that work with the timing? I mean, a running back's got to be locked in and ready. I see standing up straight. I feel like that would take seconds off the timing of a play. How do you see it work for running backs standing up straight before the ball is snapped?
You work on it throughout the course of your offseason, throughout the course of your practice. You learn that timing. Once you learn that timing starts to become second nature to you.
And Kev, we can't let you go, man, without asking about Bill Belichick, because you were one of his all-time favorite players he's ever coached. What do you think of Chapel Bill, and what do you think of him now going to the college game? You think he's going to be able to succeed now, being out there recruiting, out driving around New Jersey, then also, dealing with college kids? It's a lot different than dealing with actual adults at the NFL level.
It was very interesting when he took the job. Mm-hmm. But like I know, he has a plan. He has a plan. He's going to attack it a certain way. And at the same time, college football is becoming to be like professional football
Right.
with all the NIL deals and everything. So you feel like Bill is a competitor. Bill is he wants to challenge himself, and that's one of the things that's going to challenge him going to the college level. Like we all want to see him recruit. I want to see him talk to younger guys, talk to kids. That's going to be interesting, but he loves the challenge. So that's it. I think that's the new challenge for Bill now.
Kevin, can he get your services? If Bill gives you a call and says, hey, man, I need you up in Chapel Hill, help me get some of these running backs to stand straight up in the backfield. Can you help him out, Kev?
They say, how can you turn Bill down, man? How can you turn
right? Hey, what are these seasons? What do these football days mean for you now? You know, you were with the Giants in 2022, haven't been coaching since. How are you spending your days now, Kev?
Well, I still work for LSU, the administration of LSU.
Nice.
So I'm around football, during football season and everything. Do a little bit of training, some guys, but trying to stay involved with it as much as possible. But you never know what's going to happen going forward.
Love that, man. Hey, Kevin Faulk, legend of the Patriots, 13 years with the franchise, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Appreciate you hopping on Foxborough Rush and spending time with us, Kev.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.